Chips, the invisible engines powering everything, from your smartphone to satellites, hospitals to high-tech weaponry. Tonight, a silent war threatens the balance of global power, not with bombs, but with silicon wafers no thicker than paper. Welcome to Timeless Hub. This is the battle for chips, silicon, sanctions, and superpowers. Who makes the world's most advanced chips? Who controls the supply chain, the West or the East? And could tomorrow's war over silicon change the destiny of nations? Stay tuned. Every claim tonight is sourced. Citations on screen. Let's go back. California, 1950s. Silicon Valley was just an idea. It began with scientists, Gordon Moore, Robert Noyce, who saw magic in pure silicon, a material whose electrons unlock computational power. Their vision led to Moore's law. Chips would get twice as powerful every 2 years. For half a century, this fueled economic growth, the internet, and digital revolution. By the millennium, microchips were everywhere, driving innovation from social media to space probes. What nobody realized then was, chips were becoming central to the world's security. Countries raced to build their own semiconductor expertise, fearing dependency on others. In 2025, chips are as critical as oil once was. Without them, modern economies grind to a halt. US supercomputers model climate, war, and markets. Chinese networks run AI surveillance and smart cities. Governments have woken up. Chips aren't just business, they're national security. Recall, in 2020, the chip shortage shuttered auto plants from Detroit to Dresden. Military power increasingly depends on who has the fastest processors, drones, missiles, cyber warfare. So, who owns the technology? How vulnerable is the world to supply shocks or political roadblocks? The answer: control is shifting. In 2018, the US began clamping down, first banning chip sales to Huawei, then tightening allies' access to advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment. By 2025, sanctions have escalated. New rules block China from acquiring the most cutting-edge AI chips or the machines required to fabricate them. The US Commerce Department calls this national defense. Tech analysts call it the world's strictest embargo. China, facing choke points in critical hardware, launches emergency initiatives. Made in China 2025, billions in subsidies for chipmakers like SMIC and YMTC. But sanctions are like sand in the machinery. They slow China's progress, but not forever. China refuses to be held back. Its dream, semiconductor independence. SMIC, the nation's flagship, is building up capacity despite embargoes, rapidly pursuing cutting-edge nodes. Huawei, battered by sanctions, pivots, designing chips with limited access to American technology. But limitations remain. As of late 2025, China can make 14mm chips at scale, but trails in the ultra-advanced 5mm and below sector. That gap marks a technological frontier, but also a point of national pride. President Xi calls chip breakthroughs foundational to Chinese resurgence. Will China close the distance or remain dependent on foreign innovation? No region matters more than Taiwan, the world's chip workshop. TSMC, Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, produces 90% of the globe's most advanced chips. Brands like Apple, Nvidia, and Qualcomm all rely on TSMC's 3nm process, the global cutting edge. But being at the center makes Taiwan vulnerable, just 100 miles from mainland China, in a zone of political friction. Some analysts warn, any disruption, trade blockade, or military conflict could plunge global tech into crisis. The world watches Taiwan, knowing its chip plants power the digital future. It's not just US and China. South Korea and Japan control memory chips, advanced materials, and photolithography tools essential for chip making. The EU, feeling the heat, launches its $50 billion CHIPS Act, a bid to onshore production and reduce Asian dependency. Global supply chains are complex. One chip may cross dozens of borders before assembly. Allies race for technological advantage and insurance against economic coercion. How are chips made? First, pure silicon sliced wafer thin becomes the canvas. Photolithography, using light beams to etch nanometer-scale transistors, pushes boundaries. Each breakthrough, shrinking node sizes, 14 nanometer, then 7 nanometer, now 3 nanometer, and the roadmap to 2 nanometers. Extreme ultraviolet, EUV machines, built by ASML in the Netherlands, cost up to $200 million apiece. As chips shrink, power rises, but so does complexity. It's a technological marvel and a choke point. Tomorrow's biggest advances will come from chips, in AI, cryptography, robotics, even quantum computing. The world's largest models, like Gemini and GPT-5, run on hundreds of thousands of advanced processors. Governments invest billions, fearing that AI will decide future conflicts and economies. From smart hospitals to battlefield robots, the arms race isn't just for missiles, it's for microchips. Who will win? A new era is here. Nations friendshore, globalize supply chains, and subsidize high-tech innovation. The US and EU fight to keep their edge. China invests more than ever. Small states like Taiwan and South Korea hold global leverage. But risks remain. War, embargoes, natural disasters could reshape the chip market overnight. The battle for chips is far from over. Who controls tomorrow's silicon will write the rules of the digital age. This has been the battle for chips. Silicon, sanctions, and superpowers. Only on Timeless Hub. If you value sourced, data-driven insights, hit subscribe and share your thoughts below. Question for you. Which country do you think will lead the chip race in 2030? And what should the world do to keep tech peaceful? Until next time, stay curious and keep watching.